Well, hello there. Welcome. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we are doing your daily tarot reading. This is good for Thursday, April 4th. We'll take a look at the overall energy for the day and any obstacles that might be on your path, and of course, how you can navigate around them or through them. So let's see what's on the horizon for you. Discovering truth. You stand in the light of truth, and starfish spirit, open to infinite possibility. Okay, so there's kind of a message that I'm getting here where I feel like you're turning your back. You see how this person is kind of like turning their back and walking in a different direction, because I feel like you may have been following certain people or just like a conditioned belief of life is one way, right? And these two over here are kind of like representing what life is, like the rules that you're supposed to follow in life. There's something there, right? Like you should go in this career, you should marry this type of person, blah blah blah, whatever it is. It's kind of like, well, wait a minute, I thought that this was the path that I was supposed to go on, but all of a sudden you're being opened up to the truth that there's other ways to live or to be or to work, or different ways to love or live or whatever it is. It's like, oh my goodness, like I thought there was only one way or maybe two ways. It's kind of interesting. I mean, when I was growing up as a young girl, it literally was, or I felt the world that I lived in, and I know now that it wasn't really true, but where I grew up and the environment that I grew up in, a girl could only be a nurse, a secretary, or a teacher. It was like, those are the three choices for girls. And I honestly, it was not until much later in life that I recognized, wait a minute, that was not true. Like, nobody told me that as a girl, that I could be an astronaut. Nobody told me that I could be the president. Nobody told me, right? It's kind of like I was just following what I had been told, thinking, well, I can be either a secretary, a nurse, or a teacher. I don't like blood. So nurse was out, and it was kind of like, well, okay, that's down to secretary, teacher. And I always had that energy of being a teacher. So it worked. Right? It kind of worked for me. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I feel like you're understanding, wait a minute, there's so much more out there. Why am I allowing myself to limit what it is that I believe is possible for me? And it doesn't have to be with like career. It could be a lifestyle. It could be love. It could be anything. Oh, actually, I think it could be love. I feel like for some of you, this is like opening your eyes to a new world. Yeah, we have transformation, and then we have the Ace of Cups. Now, we're in eclipse season. There's a little bit of energy here, and we'll take a look, but there's a little bit of energy here where, excuse me, you could be even reuniting with somebody that at one time, or a situation or a job or a career, something that you may have wanted at one point in your life, but you were told it wasn't the right person, situation, career for you. In other words, you were interested in it, but you were told, no, you can't go that direction. That doesn't work, for whether it was your family's values or religious values or whatever it is, society. It's kind of like, that doesn't work, right? And so you stayed in line. Okay, and my throat is literally closing up. I think you weren't able to speak your truth at that time. For some of you, this could be that you really and truly wanted a totally different way of life than what you grew up in. But for one reason or another, there's almost a sense of obligation, a family burden, of something like that you felt like you couldn't go in a different direction. So maybe you were the eldest in the family of the children, and you felt like maybe one of your parents wasn't in the household for one reason or another, right? And you felt like you had to stay close in order to help the parent that was left. It's kind of like this energy where I feel like for some of you may have had some sense of family burden or obligation that kept you kind of somewhere. But what you're understanding is that you are transmuting that, right? You're allowing yourself to let go of that belief in order to go in a new way. And here is the thing. Like, I feel like for some of you, you have the travel card, you have the world card, like perhaps even literally moving to another country or moving to something that is so different than your home. Like, look at the front door there, right, of a home. Kind of, it's understanding, no, this home value or where you live. And it could be that maybe you don't even agree with like your government at this time or what is going on in your country or in your city or something like that, the environment. You're kind of like, no, it doesn't have to be this way. There are other possibilities out there. And for some of you, I do feel like you are also expressing, finally finding the courage to express your truth about what it is that you truly, how you want to love, right? What kind of loving connections you want in your life. In other words, for some of you, you may not want connections that you feel like are obligated, that you want a connection. No matter what it may look very different than what you grew up with, believing was right for you. It's kind of like understanding, no, there's different love out there and I'm willing to experience it. It does mean that you kind of have to allow yourself to let go of some people or situations that may not agree with you, right? Family members or something like that. But it's kind of like, it's kind of interesting because they're bringing up in Downton Abbey, one of the Crawley girls, Sybil. Yes, she marries the chauffeur, right? And that was, very much kind of like, okay, no, Sybil, you can't marry the chauffeur. That's, he's below our class. You have to follow in line with, what is expected of, a grand, lady in the English society, right? But she says, that's fine. I'm willing to walk away from all of that in order to go towards some true love. Like you're literally saying, no, this is the love of my life. Or, even if it's not a relationship, this is the career. This is the avenue. This is the lifestyle that I want, no matter what other people think. Because your obstacle here is that you're having a hard time enjoying being with the people that you're with. You want to reconnect to people that you can be joyous with. You're finding where you are at this time. If you're thinking about leaving and going in a new direction, right? It's kind of like, yeah, there's no joy, there's no love in this. So why am I staying? Why am I living by somebody's rules that are not in alignment with what my heart truly desires, just in order to make other people happy, obligated to their happiness? So your advice here is to take your power back. Go in the direction. The Knight of Cups is going forth in love. It's kind of like you don't have to say unkind things to the people you're leaving, right? You're just like, this is the direction. It's understanding that you can't change the way that they believe. And there's nothing, their truth is their truth. So it's kind of like, okay, I get it. That's the way you believe, but that's not the way I believe. And so I'm going in a new direction. I'm allowing myself to end one chapter of my life to go towards what my heart truly desires. Wow, beautiful energy there. Okay, so let's pull a soul truth card for you for some final advice. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. All right, where am I with my health goals? Where do I want to be? Why am I not there? What will it take for me to feel well? Okay, so if my body could talk, it would say, and then we have a blank, right? Feed your body what it needs to feel nourished, appreciated, and loved. Make some new exciting goals to take your health to the next level. The energy that I got there when I was reading that is that where you are right now is literally, when we stay in toxic situations that are not really in alignment with what our heart wants and desires, it does take a toll on our physical body, because we're holding back the joy that is within our own heart. You're wanting to express your love and joy out into the world, but in the situation that you're in, you're not, kind of, for one reason or another, not allowed to. So it's allowing yourself to move, literally move. And I think for some of you, you are moving out of one situation because it's not healthy for you. I'm going to put it that way. Energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you're kind of like, this is not in alignment. And you're seeing that there are so many other possibilities out there for you. You don't have to, it's a little bit about, you don't have to drink the Kool-Aid that somebody is trying to have you, it's kind of like, I believe that there are other possibilities, and I'm willing to experiment and go out there and to appreciate the adventure of having different experiences and not just staying in one place and believing that there's only one way to live. Wow, powerful messages coming out this week. And of course, it's eclipse season, so I'm not surprised at all. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope I see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.